was going to be a season 2 for Ethan Carter, and then when you did find out, we kind of like decided because then we could expand, I guess, the story more of what happened in season 1.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't anticipate there'd be a second season. I know that critically it was well received. I don't think the ratings had shot through the roof to the point where it was therefore going to be a done deal that we'd immediately have a second season. So it was really to do with the online support of the fans and also just the fact that the reviews have been so positive. I think also I wanted, and I was starting to explore this in the second season, she's in a different place. She's gone to Los Angeles, so she's in the Hollywood kind of glamorous world where they had this kind of gangster, dark underbelly in the 40s, which was kind of like LA Confidential, film noir-esque. So it's taken on that kind of tone. And then also she's no longer grieving Steve, so she's ready to open up her heart, so she's in a much lighter, happier place within herself. And then of course we've got Jarvis being crazy Jar, with his 3-piece woolen suit and his absolute dislike for palm trees and he's very, very funny. So I think there'll be lots of different angles, and I think we're going to delve into her past a little bit. There'll be certainly more kind of love interests, love triangles. And yeah, maybe. I think that the great thing is that we know that because of Winter Soldier, we know that Peggy lives into her mid-90s, so there's so much scope. We know that she found S.H.I.E.L.D., and therefore she has this incredibly full life. We know that at one point she gets married and has children. So, you know, I could be hopefully doing this in 3 or 4 decades from now, which that's my plan. Whether they like it or not, I'll still be at home in my room playing Peggy to myself.
What upcoming Marvel movie are you most excited for? And what's your opinion on Civil War?
Well, you see, I'm a bit controversial in this respect because I'm not really into the comic book superhero films. Sorry guys. It's just not I love being part of it, I completely get it. But I'm actually clueless as to what's coming out apart from Civil War, because I went and gate crashed the set about 3 times in Atlanta. What I'm most looking forward to is seeing his kind of mesh stomach. Which I did kind of pat down gently, and I sort of just make sure he was still there, he was still real. I'm most looking forward to seeing kind of the development of Chris's characterization. I think he's just gotten better with every Cap role he's played in the films, and I think they get darker, they get more psychologically interesting. We'll see. He wouldn't even tell me the story of what happens, so I wasn't even allowed that. But Peggy's kind of in there somewhere. Yeah.
Okay.
Hi Hayley. I know, like Gordon said, we all love your Dub Smash videos, and you said you were really humbled by us dressed like Peggy Bondoc. How threatened were you, though, by Clark Gregg impersonating Peggy Carter?
What, when he dressed up as Peggy? You mean?
Yeah.
Well, I was quite tired, and so I went to bed early, so I just kind of ordered room service and sat in my room as James went downstairs with all the team of S.H.I.E.L.D. to get ready to go to this big Entertainment Weekly party that I decided to opt out of. And he kept texting me and going, they're all going crazy behind this curtain, overexcited and really proud of themselves and what they're doing. And I was like, it's gonna be fine, guys. You know, James, we've nailed it. We're fine. I'm just gonna have my chicken Caesar salad and go to bed. And then James texted me and went, oh shit. Sorry to swear, children. Swearing is bad. Watch your language. So I was like, oh, it can't be that bad. But then the exciting thing is that S.H.I.E.L.D. were trying to upload it on Instagram and on Twitter, but for some reason the internet was down, and they thought for about a good 20 minutes they'd actually lost the video. But James was sat in the van with them all, going to this party, as I'm sat there going, sure, I just want to see it, I just want to see it. And they were losing their minds because they were that that close to not having got it, and then just as they pulled up at the party, Clark found it again, went, oh my god, I've got it, posted it. And I watched it, and I was livid. I was so upset with how good it was. I was disgusted, I was fuming. And that was why then I was just like, well, this is the saddest day of my life. And then James and I, we obviously, neither of us had slept properly because we turned up the next morning, both of us had bags under each other's eyes. And James just goes, there's only one way to win this. I was like, tell me. And he goes, it means a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of travel. I said, I'm in. I don't care what it costs. I'm in. And he went, we need to go to Atlanta, we need to get Chris. And I was like, yes, hell yes! So I called up Chris immediately, and he was like, what? I was like, okay, so we're gonna get up at 3:30 in the morning, come to Atlanta for a 9-second dub smash, and we'll fly straight back, so we won't interfere with you, we know you're filming on set, you just need to be in your cap when you shoot. He's like, okay. Oh, and then can we have a snog afterwards, we need to kiss each other. And he's like, oh yeah, that's fine. That's a long story. You do dub smash can be such serious business. Seriously, things in your life. Oh, I'm really sad. I really need a boyfriend. I'm joking, don't come out so Hayley's really desperate. No, dub smash is just doing fine for me right now.
Hi Hayley. Hello. Thanks so much for coming. I think one of the things people love so much about Peggy is her fighting style, and that she just kind of fights with everything that's around her that she uses as a weapon. So my question is, what has been your favorite weapon of opportunity that Peggy has used?
That's a good question. Well, I love the diner scene. She uses a plate and kicks a chair, and it's a perfect example of her fighting style. She's not someone that's, like myself, not particularly skilled, but very confident, which is incredibly deadly combination for Peggy's enemies and for my stunt men that I work with. And I was rehearsing, I have to kick this clipboard out of this man's hand, which I filmed yesterday. And it was at night time, it was like midnight, and he was like, do you want to try it? And he held the clipboard up kind of like this, and he was like 6'3", and he just went, if you want to practice it. So I meant to like tap it gently with my foot, and then he reacts by smacking him in the face. So I kind of caught him off guard, and I just went, and the clipboard just went flying. I just like landed over the other side of the parking lot where we were filming, and he was like, oh, okay, oh. I was like, you were really intense. I know, I'm sorry. But I think what Marvel have done very kindly and brilliantly is used my skills as the strengths of her fight sequences in the show, that she doesn't have to be incredible at martial arts. She's just very resourceful around her, physically capable, very present, spontaneous, and I think that kind of makes her a lot more relatable, as well as a dirty fighter, which is kind of my style.
Okay. Hey, I'm Jason.
Hi.
Hi. Otherwise known as Jason_the_ninja, so follow me on Twitter, everyone. Anyways, Hayley, I want to know what your philosophy on life is, and I know, it's a simple question, and what the dog was, because there's the most adorable white dog in your dub smash videos that I don't know.
What dog?
Yeah.
That's Arthur, Chloe Bennett's dog.
Oh, really?
James stole it. I'm going to use this, and then just picked it up. So what's my philosophy of life?
Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell. Well, it's ever evolving, and that's the exciting thing about life, and as you grow up have many experiences, and your perception starts to shift when you travel and get a sense that every story has, every life has a story and has a past that's very rich and very full. And I feel kind of grateful enough that I've had many experiences that are constantly shifting my perception of what I feel like the world is about. But I love like George Bernard Shaw. He says, it's not about finding yourself. There's this emphasis nowadays, and I just want to find out who I am. And I find it a bit indulgent, actually. And I think it's kind of like, I'm going to go and sit and find myself. I think it should be more about creating yourself. Creating, inventing, discovering, exploring, expanding yourself, but projected outwards. So it's not like, oh, I'm just going to sit here and be amazing. It's like, it's not about you. It's kind of strengthening your skills as a human being and then extending them outwards so that you make a contribution to the world. And I think that in itself is fulfilling.
Hi Hayley. Hi. You're a lot more beautiful in person.
You saying I'm ugly on screen? Outrageous.
My question today is, how real is Carter Lenny?
How real? Like, have I hooked up with Lindsay?
I mean, obviously you have, right?
Oh, well, I can't really say in the sense that I think she is probably, I'm making up things as I go along here. I don't want to speculate, I don't want to put ideas into the writer's minds that don't feel like are founded on anything real other than answering a really exciting fan base. I'm a huge fan of Cartinelli, as is Lindsay, and we are huge supporters of LGBT rights, and we hope there's more diversity on television promoting that the importance of those kind of relationships, both romantic and platonic. I think the thing that stands out for me in Angie's relationship, Peggy and Angie, is that it's seldom that you see on television a friendship between two women that isn't founded on the interest of a man that they're talking about. And also isn't competitive or bitchy. I think there's a genuine affection that they have for each other. Whether or not you want to project the idea that that's romantic or sexual onto it is entirely up to you and how you want to view it. But I think there's a mutual respect that's quite rare, that I want to see more of in film and stories, because I think it reflects much more the quality of female relationships that we have with each other in society, which a lot of the time are not bitchy and competitive. If any woman was like that in my life, they wouldn't be in my life. So we want to have less of them on screen and more of them, a much more honest representation of female relationships.
Continuing on that line, I'm asking on behalf of AfterEllen.com, we're big fans of you. And I just wanted to ask, despite a villainous kiss, there's no actual lesbian storyline on the show, as you just expressed, yet queer women are really attracted to the show. Could you comment maybe on why that is, and now that there is a Boston marriage kind of coming in the next season, can you speak to that a little bit?
Wait, so the first part of the question is why do you think it's had such a support from the gay community?
Yeah.
Because gays have good taste. Is the only thing I can come up with that one. And the second question, so what was it again?
The fact that they're moving in together.
Oh, Angie and
Yeah.
what's her face? Peggy. That's always what I say when I temporarily forget what I'm doing.
It is a Boston type marriage, but a Boston marriage used to have other connotations too, right? So
Absolutely. I think why not? I fully support that idea. I think it's a great idea. It's a very modern notion. I think relationships are so much more interesting and complex and grey area than we like to kind of portray in the media. I think they're a lot more richer and fuller, whether there is a romantic element to them or not. So I think that Angie and Peggy are kind of ahead of their time in the way that they're kind of modern women living in the 1940s in what's essentially a man's world and trying to make it. But I think that Lindsay plays her so brilliantly, and there's a real affection Lindsay and I have for each other as two actresses working together. And that's something that I've tried to have with every actor that's come in, even if they've only got one scene to play in the show, because it's essentially my show and I'm leading it. I'm leading the tone and the atmosphere on set. So I want to make sure that anyone that comes in just for a day or 2 days feels validated, feels welcomed, feels appreciated, and as a result, they do their best work because of it. So I'm very keen on forging important professional working relationships that seem to spill over onto the screen and just tell a stronger, better story. I've gone off onto a random tangent, but there you go.
We just all wanted to see the set of Agent Carter now.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm just wondering what your reaction was to when you saw older Peggy in Ant-Man on screen.
I haven't seen it. I know, I'm sure it's crushing the box office, the fact that I haven't paid my ticket yet, but I will go and see it. I've got a photograph, and obviously I was there, so I know what I look like. I love it. I think she looks great. She's got really good hair. And I'm like, God damn it, I can't get my hair to do that by myself. So I'm just hoping that I age as gracefully as Peggy. I'm gonna have to hire a permanent hairdresser really to do that. But yeah, I think she ages well. She's pretty well.
Hi, Hayley.
Hello.
You have some great dialogue on the show, so I want to know what your favorite Agent Carter quote is.
It's really hard, because every time I learn lines, as soon as I've delivered them, I can't remember them again. Obviously, the quote of "I know my value, anyone else's opinion doesn't really matter" is something that I've seen so many people with the tattoos of that quote, which is very moving. And it's and I think that really sums up who Peggy is and who she discovers herself to be towards the end of the first season. And also, it reveals that her agenda, the reason why she's doing this, she's carrying on this work, not for the fame, not for the praise, not for this kind of social status, but for the labour itself, for the fulfilment of doing the job to the best of her ability, because she knows who she is. And I think that's such a strong and such a positive and inspiring place to be, rather than a kind of a desperate need to be validated by other people. It's like, well, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what people think of you. In fact, it's actually none of your business. The most important thing is what you think of yourself. And that's something that Peggy has in spades, which is why she can walk into a room and not be intimidated by the men. And she's not focusing on her insecurities about being in an environment like that. And it means there's more headspace for her to focus on the witty retorts, the clever comebacks, devising intelligent plans. Because she's got more headspace, because she's focusing on the right things rather than focusing on, oh my God, no one's saying I'm amazing. No one's giving me credit, no one's slapping my ass. Yeah, but I don't know why she's suddenly American like that. I'm really sorry. Sorry if there are any Americans here. That kind of answers the question.
Hi, Hayley.
Hi.
My question is, may you please compare how you reacted to the first episode of Agent Carter, so when you were reading the script, to how you reacted when you were reading the script for the finale?
Oh, well, the great thing was they were kind of writing it as they went along. So I didn't have all the scripts at once. I was having the next episode given to me a couple of days before we started filming it, so it was very fresh. I think what I loved was the arc of Steve and how that manifests in, obviously the having a vial of his blood and making sure it doesn't get into the wrong hands and doubting Howard and all these things that are happening. But ultimately, personally, it's a story about her grief. And it's how she overcomes that, and how she manages to move on. And how she also, at the same time, manages to protect the memory of Steve by destroying his blood, destroying any kind of evidence so it doesn't get into the wrong hands. And I just thought it was very beautiful and very sensitive, because I think so many people who saw Captain America loved Steggy, as they call it, Peggy and Steve. And they loved that relationship. So I think if we'd gone straight into the first season with a new love interest, I think it would have undermined what they had together in the first season. So it was very important that they established what the loss of him did to her, and the fact that she still tries to carry on his work throughout the season. And then I think it was just beautifully wrapped up because, you know, I think people can move on, and it's part of human nature to, once you've processed something very painful and something like loss, that there is hope for you to be able to not ever replace that person, but to certainly kind of make way for a new opportunity in your life that gives you greater contentment and companionship. So that's what we're exploring with the second season.
First off, I don't care what the titles on these badges say. Peggy wasn't the Dub Smash winner. Colson wasn't the Dub Smash loser. As to my question...
Wait, what did you say? You said, I'm not a winner and he's not a loser.
Very nice. As to the question...
No, I really don't understand what you're saying, mate.
As to the question, do you have planned out what you're going to have Clark and Chloe do in the odd event that you win the Dub Smash War? I mean, you may as well...
Wait, you're dressed up as...
You may as well tell us.
Yeah, he's dressed up as... Sorry, I get it now. Yeah. I mean, considering we're going to win, I should have thought this through by now. I don't know. I mean, I think what we'll end up doing, honestly, is... I can't read that, sorry. I haven't got my glasses on. Sorry. But you look fabulous. Anyway, we can carry on answering the conversation. I think that because there's going to be something... There's going to be a generosity of spirit. You know, Clark and Chloe are wonderful people and great people to be able to work with. And James and I feel that it was, you know, because it was Clark's idea to raise money for charity, that we should keep this whole feel, this generosity of spirit, and how this kind of tongue-in-cheek, let's tease each other, but ultimately we're doing this for a good cause, and it's because it's a lot of fun. And you know, sitting there thinking, oh God, what's Clark going to come up with next? And oh my God, we got that, brilliant, we're going to nail him. All of those things. But I think that I don't want to punish them too much when they lose. I think we'll do something like, we'll do a Dub Smash where we're all kind of together as a family or something. You know, I think that we don't want to take it too far and end up causing kind of negativity. You know, it's, you know, they're going to hate me when I win, but I want to keep the spirit alive, which is one of generosity and creative fun. We've already filmed the second one. He's gonna lose his mind. Yeah, we're coming up with the finale at the moment.
And no other hints or...
No, sorry.
No hints or anything about the second one?
I'd have to kill you.
Okay. No hints!
Hi. So my question is that in the first season of Agent Carter, Peggy's really inspired by Steve, and he's kind of like a role model of it. But who are the female role models in Peggy's life?
That's a very good question. Probably not many, actually. Really not many. I mean, she's self-made. We're going to explore a little bit about her background. If we went to season 3, we'd probably explore a little bit more. I think because it's so unusual for a woman of that time in that situation to have the qualities that Peggy has, I think she was probably more influenced by the men in her life, and certainly maybe there's a mention of a brother, and probably her father, who I assume has a military background, so it's in her blood. And I think that she was also brought up to believe and to be taught that she was just as good as the men and just as capable. And that comes, very importantly, comes from men in her life telling her that. And I certainly had it, you know, when I was growing up, my dad was more inclined to tell me that I was smart rather than I was pretty. And I think that kind of served me well, because it meant that I didn't use my feminine looks as my main currency. I looked to develop other aspects of my personality. but I think it's essential as an actor to do that. And I think kind of Peggy's similar. I think she had probably a very stern but understanding father who believed that she could do anything, and a brother that probably teased her enough until she knew how to stand up to him. And then, you know, that's why Angie's so important in her life. Angie's probably the first woman that she's met that she can relate to but can start to confide in. So, but we'll see how it evolves. It's a question for the writers really, and how they want to explore Hayley.
Hi. Just wanted you're such an amazing cast on Agent Carter, so I was wondering what's been the most memorable moment on set for you?
Oh my goodness me. Well, there's been, you know, everyone that's come on set know that they're coming onto a very happy set. And especially now that we're in our second season, we all know each other incredibly well. So there's an ease and there's a very relaxed, chilled out atmosphere, as well as commitment and the focus to getting the work done and the best that we can. But I'm going to have to say that it's to do with James and Dominic, really, who I've known for like the last 10 years back in England, and they're such silly billies, and James is this absolutely heart of gold, and I can make him do anything, which is really good. He's also great at reacting to pranks. I know I've posted a couple of videos recently of people jumping out at him and him just going apeshit. Sorry, what's my language? And it's really entertaining. Dominic as well is just, I have this, actually maybe I might post it actually. I've got this video of, we filmed a few days in Universal last season, and I have this video of him pretending he's the Doc from Back to the Future, because we went onto the Universal lot where they have the clock, and he was like, okay, Marty, and he does this whole little sketch. And it's really cute, and I might post it. I'll have to ask him if, actually I won't ask him, I'll just post it. It's really, really cute. But you'll get a sense of just the silliness that we have, right? I don't know if anyone saw it, I posted recently Jarvis dancing, like a little pelvic thrust. Which just entertains me to no end, because we just, you know, when you're working the hours that we work, and there's an element of this pressure, of course. You're working with a big, incredibly loved and well-respected institution like Disney and Marvel. There's a responsibility that comes with it, and a level of professionalism that needs to really set the bar high. And you need to be on your game. You need to know exactly what you're doing and make creative choices. But in order to do my best work, I have to have an equal amount of downtime with the people that I'm working with that is fun. So we goof around a lot, because I think it actually makes us work better and makes us work harder when the camera's actually rolling. So there'll be a lot more silly stunts that you'll see as the season goes on, and silly pranks, and any recommendations and suggestions, please let me know. I'll do my best to do them, to bring them into fruition.
Hi, Peggy. I called you Peggy because I'm sorry. I'm kind of nervous. You're honestly one of my role models, and you're, like, perfect. Okay, so my question is, do you think Peggy would come out as a victor in the Hunger Games?
Hell yeah. Yes, of course she would. Her and Katniss, they'd just be awesome together. Now that's the girl I've got a crush on. She's amazing. I think she's a phenomenal actress, and she seems like a very grounded, good, solid person that I'd like to get drunk with.
Hello. Hi. So Cardinelli has come up.
Yeah.
What I'm wondering is what you think about fan fiction and fan art and those kinds of things that fans engage in, and if you've ever read any or seen any that you thought was interesting.
Yeah, I post quite a lot that I see. I'll retweet and favourite things that I like. I love the idea, and the writers' room also retweet it. They love it. It creates a richer world for Peggy to be involved in, and it also is a way of us getting a sense of feedback about what the fans like and what they're responding to. So it helps to inform our work as well. And it also kind of shows me the the incredible support that Peggy's had from the fans, and I think that should be celebrated and enjoyed as well, because there's a tremendous amount of talent and work that goes into lots of fan fiction that I've seen in fan art. So I will happily retweet something if I think it's good.
Hi, so first I want to thank you for being a very positive and strong role model for girls everywhere. There's not enough of those on television. Now, my question, because it's really great that Marvel has not one, but 2 shows right now that have strong female leads. If there were to be a showdown between Peggy and Melinda May, unbiased, who do you think would come out on top?
Well, Ming-Na and I have talked about this a bit, and I think we'd have such different styles that we'd be like, damn, that was a great move, girl. And I think we'd be so impressed with each other that we'd be like, what are we even fighting for? And I think we just probably just go to the bar. Yeah, to be quite frank. I mean, Ming-Na is such an awesome lady, and we've spent quite a bit of time with each other doing press tours and conventions this year. And, she's, again, that's another, I think if they were on screen together, that's another example of a relationship that would be born out of mutual respect rather than a need to fight each other.
Hi, Hayley. I'm really nervous. First, I just wanted to kind of laugh a little bit. How many people thought of Avengers 2 every time Hayley corrects her language? I was laughing how many people in the room think of Avengers 2 with Captain America.
Yeah, language, I know. It just makes me, because I think there's something, because I'm British, and British people swear a lot. We can get away with it in our accent a little bit, it's a really bad habit, but every time someone says that to me, what's your language, I immediately just go into Tourette's and swear words. I will not be thwarted, I will not be controlled. Sorry, go on.
Actually, my question was just kind of girl to girl here. How close is Captain America to Chris Evans, and how good of a kisser is he?
He is divine. I've known him for 5 years now, and we've travelled throughout this kind of crazy career path a little bit together, and he's taken the role in his stride, and he has, he's a creative soul, he's a sensitive soul, he's a romantic soul. He thinks deeply about what he's contributing to the world with his work and wants to do better, and wants to develop himself as a director. He's great fun. He's the life and soul of the party. Very charismatic, very friendly, very polite, very well brought up, incredibly. God, I'm like, I should marry the guy. Sounds he's very soft lips, great bottom. I think that he's one of these people that is just going to get better as he ages as well. I think Captain America's changed his life and has given him the means to have more creative control about the projects he gets made. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how he develops later on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Hayley.
Hi.
My name's Sarah. Hello. So I know we talked a lot about Dub Smash Wars, and you obviously are the Dub Smash Queen. So I wanted to know if you're just as passionate about karaoke and what's your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, yeah. Well, I love the Rocky Horror Show. Yes, I've seen it. God, so many times. I was singing I'm Just a Sweet Transvestite when I was 7. My mum's friends would come over and I'd be singing this song, Sweet Transvestite, and Mum had to stop it. Showing me up. And but I thought Tim Curry was incredible, and adored him. He was so brilliant in that role. My goodness, he's so charismatic. So anything from the Rocky Horror Show, or Cabaret. I also like Men in Drag. I love it. I love Men in Drag, and anything kind of camp and spectacular and fabulous. And kind of my karaoke go-to belters, really. Yeah, but see the time warp. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
I was just wondering, we know that Peggy has a usual at the cafe that Angie works at because she's said that to her before. Angie has asked her, do you want your usual? So I was just wondering, what's Peggy's usual?
Oh, it's black coffee with a shot of bourbon in it.
Hi, Peggy.
Hi.
I just want to be the first to say this, but I think the Peggy Carter show is better than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Go Agent Carter.
That's you.
And if you need a boyfriend, I can be the...
Thank
Go
you.
to Underdash Sketches on Instagram, that's my account.
Thank you.
So my question was, if there was a celebrity you could work with in Agent Carter, who would it be?
Oh, if we had a celebrity on our show?
Yes.
Oh, I know this sounds really morbid, but all my favourite actors are dead. like Gregory Peck and Paul Newman. I might be like, oh. And also because they were so great for the era of the 1940s, you know. So that's, I love Michael Fassbender. I wouldn't kick him off set. Who else? David Oyelowo, who's like, he played Selma. He's a phenomenal actor. Brilliant Shakespearean stage actor who I've known for many years, so he's great. There's a lot of British talent, some people that you might not have heard of but have careers on stage in England who I'm kind of obsessed with. And also my dear, dear friend Ben Whishaw. A beautiful human being, so I would just, any excuse to be around him, I would just hang out and stalk him if I could. I found out where he lived. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. Thank you. Hi!
Hi. Okay.
That was awesome. Hi. Hello.
Okay. So, do you think Captain America is really hot?
Oh my god. Oh my god. Well, yeah, the only thing is, can I just say that it's really weird, like, to sit there in this trailer while he's getting his hairpiece put on and foundation. I'd be like, how much makeup have you got on? You know, so it's the illusion of him looking like that, which kind of freaks me out a bit. The real Chris is, I think, absolutely beautiful. I really think he's hot with his beard. Yeah. I'm gonna fight for him to keep that. Yeah. So yeah, I do. I think he's really hot.
Thanks, Beth.
Hi, I'm a fan of Peggy Carter, but my question is about your amazing performance on Black Mirror. Yes, you displayed such a range of emotions in that episode. I'm just wondering, how do you deal with displaying all that emotional spectrum? Does it follow you that day or in any other performances? Does it stick with you when you go home?
That was a particularly tough shoot because she was, you know, in such turmoil for the duration of the story, and it was about 12 days of intense filming in the countryside, and it does stay with you a little bit. I think the actual experience is very cathartic and makes me, I think, more empathetic towards the characters that I'm playing, if I can emotionally engage with them and relate to them in some way. And I do think kind of there's something to be said for actors who can access those deeper, darker parts of ourselves that on the surface in everyday life we try to hide and sort of repress. Things are not accepted, certain emotions that are kind of considered taboo to be exploring. But so I find that the very nature of the art of storytelling gives every single emotion on the human spectrum some kind of place in validation to make it known that it's normal and human and okay to feel the way that we feel and what we feel. And that's the kind of, for me, the absolute joy and privilege of being in this industry that helps me kind of figure out what being a human is and gives words and stories to otherwise nameless, confused concepts and thoughts and emotions that otherwise in my everyday life I would find hard to process. So it's a very therapeutic, very cathartic experience. And it does wash off, but it's kind of like, do you guys see the Pixar film Inside Out? See, the thing I loved about that was the whole moral of that film was about the poignancy and the importance of sadness. That we're spending all our time being happy, happy, happy and chasing happiness all the time, but yet there has to be a place where sadness is allowed to be accepted, to be validated as part of the human experience, and it can actually teach us incredible lessons. And I think that's kind of the beauty about those roles like Black Mirror, that what it was able for me to do was to access those emotions that were kind of laying dormant in me.
Hello, Agent Coulson of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Hello.
Hi, Agent Carter.
Hi.
I'd like to ask, how do you feel about Donnie Underwood, or whatever her real name is?
Oh, she's a slippery fish. We haven't seen the last of her.
Yeah. By having her as Peggy's nemesis.
Yeah, it's great that we have, another, obviously Peggy has male baddies that she fights, but to have someone who's physically kind of is her equal, she's a Black Widow, she's incredibly capable and she's very smart, and I think that shows kind of a balance for Peggy, like a flip side of the same coin. And so we'll be seeing more of her in season 2.
Okay, one more. This is actually the last one.
Okay. Hi, Hayley.
Hi.
I'm so glad I got a chance to ask this question because I thought I wouldn't. I'm glad I brought more than one because some of them have sort of already been answered. So the one I have left is, given how much the previous season emphasized Peggy struggling to prove herself, and at least somewhat succeeding, now that she'll be moving to LA, will her reputation have begun to precede herself at all? Or will she have to prove herself again to her new colleagues and superiors?
That's a great question. I've only read 2 of the episodes. We're filming them at the moment, and I know that she's got Sousa and Jarvis out there, so they know that who she is, which is good. So she's got their support. But there's many obstacles that she'll have to face. Of course, there'll be a new nemesis. There'll be new challenges for her. They'll be diving into her past a little bit and it will explain certain torments that she has. But I think there will, Peggy, by the very nature of the world in which it's set, means that she'll be constantly up against obstacles in which she has to break down barriers and break down walls, which is kind of the very nature of her character and what makes her so relatable. And I don't think that even in today's day and age, women are free from obstacles at all when it comes to having to prove themselves, particularly in the workplace. So because of that, I think it's all relevant that we put that in there in the series. Yeah. Thank you.